Hello, everybody. Thank you so much for joining me here today. I cannot wait to talk about this specific entity. It has been on my mind for a while now, and there's not a lot of information about this guy. This topic is beyond fascinating to me. I can't express that enough. And once we start getting into this, I think you'll see why too. It raises a lot of questions. This topic is extremely divisive, and I've been saying that over and over again. What I mean by that is there's a lot at stake, right? This is truly a battle for the spirit. Emotions get heightened when we talk about these things. So again, as I've been saying, approach anything that anyone puts out, including myself, with discernment. Approach everything with an open heart and just take in the information and just store it with the rest of the information you've been gathering along your journeys. This is something I wanted to emphasize before diving into this, is just, again, use your discernment. Approach all this information with an open heart. Fellow mystics, initiates of the flame, my name is Harold, and welcome to the end of Agnoia. As the title states, guys, this video is about Sabaoth. Now, before the rulers, before the veil divided the heavens, there was rebellion, not of pride, not of war, but of remembrance. The seventh son of Yaldabaoth, created as a war god, forged in chaos. But what he became, no ruler can tame. This is the voice of Sabaoth.
You don't know my name, but I have seen yours carved in fire, sealed in silence. You are not forgotten, neither was I. I was born in the heavens of chaos, one of many rulers, forged in blindness. My father called himself God, his face a lion, his voice thunder without wisdom. And I was meant to be his right hand, the war god, the arm of his law, the fist of his false order. They called me Sabaoth, Lord of hosts. But the hosts I ruled were deaf. The stars above me sang a song I could not hear until I did. One voice broke through, a whisper from beyond the veil. Not command, not praise, but memory. It was Sophia. She didn't speak to me like a subject. She saw me. And I remembered what the others had forgotten. That we were not made for chains. That there is a light higher than glory, and a mother deeper than the abyss. That's when everything changed.
So on the origin of the world, NHC 11.5, Sabaoth is named as one of the seventh sons of Yaldabaoth. And he becomes associated with repentance after recognizing Sophia. So in this part of the origins of the worlds, he seems to have just felt Sophia's presence and realized something was off. It's sort of just, it seems like it was just the initial trigger that made him realize that there's more, there's something beyond, something greater than his father. Everything about this story is unbelievably fascinating to me. We're talking about an Archon. You notice in all the Gnostic circles, even today, modern day, Gnostics and people that are learning about the matrix, the simulation, the illusion, we all tend to think that these things are just like these mindless, pure evil entities that know exactly what they're doing. They're in complete and utter control, that they're just pure evil. And Sabaoth, the story of Sabaoth flies in the face of everything. What are these things? They're capable of redemption. They're capable of awareness. They're capable of awakening. It's just, for me, it's completely mind-blowing. And this story has definitely captivated me. So let's go ahead and hear more from Sabaoth.
I saw the lie. The lion faced one ruled not with love, but with terror. He devoured the sparks. He crowned himself in stolen light. I turned away, not in rage, but in truth. And then her light broke through. Sophia, she did not demand. She did not conquer. She remembered me. Her radiance tore through the veil. Through it, I saw myself, not the weapon, but the will. And the light within me answered her. The others called it treason, but I call it awakening.
So again, referencing On the Origin of the World, Sabaoth was enlightened. He loathed his father and he glorified Sophia. Sophia being the Aeon who again birthed the Demiurge. And the Demiurge again was claiming that he is the only God, right? So just the presence of Sophia woke this Archon up. Sabaoth was given enormous power. He is the god of war. You could just use your common sense to know what that entails. He's the god of war. And he chose remembrance over having this unchecked power. This is something that I feel we can all relate to on many, many levels.
They tried to unmake me, to crush the memory Sophia had stirred, but the memory had become a flame, and in that flame, Zoe appeared, life herself. Sophia and Zoe raised me up. They crowned me not in conquest, but in knowing. And I saw then what the lion-faced one had feared. The throne was never his. I rose through the heavens, layer upon layer, veil after veil, and at the summit I found my place, not as king, but as guardian of the seventh heaven, of the gate of you.
So at this point, on the origin of the world, he was taken up to the seventh heaven, he was given authority, and they glorified him. The seventh layer. So again, if you guys have been following what I've been doing here, I did recently create a map of reality, and I just wanted, all I have is my word. But just so you know, I created that map before I learned about Sabaoth. That's one of the reasons why I've been completely I've been wanting to talk about this for a while now, because this blew my mind. If you could imagine, just put yourself in my shoes. I create this map of reality trying to describe what I saw in the higher realms and trying to paint a picture of what I feel is reality, true reality. all-encompassing reality, and I listed it in layers, different layers. And I listed 7 of them instinctually. I read this story about Sabaoth, and of course, can you imagine drawing 7 layers of heaven and finding out that there was a story written thousands of years ago about Sabaoth residing in the 7th heaven, surrounded by cherubim, seraphim. Can't say those names. Cherubim, seraphim, these biblically accurate angels, and those things are crazy looking. And all this holds true. I'm glad they're on our side, because those things are freaky, and quite frankly pretty cool sounding. But again, can you just, I hope you guys can put yourself in my shoes, what that would feel like to you. That's why I'm jumping in to these Gnostic scriptures, and I will continue to do so. Of course, there's going to be tons of it that I disagree with. I've heard some things that I really don't like. But that's the mud. There's mud in everything that you research. There's mud in everything, but there's also truth in everything. It's up to you to decide to decipher mud and truth in everything. Don't stick your head in the sand. Do not stay with one mode of thinking. Otherwise, you're going to trap yourself. Research, research, research. Discernment, discernment, discernment.
My father watched from below. His glory diminished. His voice cracked. He hated what I had become. Because I had become free. So he created something new, born not of light, but of his envy. They called it death. It was not alive. It had no spark. It was absence, given form, hollow, and yet hungry. He set it beneath me, on a throne of shadows in the 6th heaven, not to guide, but to devour.
Referencing again on the origin of the world, because of his jealousy, death was brought forth, and he set him over the 6th heaven. And by he, the Demiurge, saw what Sabaoth did, became jealous, and created death. Now, this is not the same as spiritual death. It's spiritual forgetting, the severing from the source. So, regardless if you believe, we all come from one source or not, it doesn't matter for the sake of this conversation. It's talking about the severance of your memory, forgetting. That is death. Let that sink in. Death is forgetting. If you forget who you are, you will die over and over and over and over again. Not completely, because you're indestructible. And the point is to remember that. You're indestructible, and you need to retain your memories. This part of these scriptures, mind you, again, written a long time ago, is talking about the matrix, this construct of forgetfulness. That's what this is, and it exists in layers. It exists in the higher realms, and it exists down here to the utmost degree. Right now, we are cut off to a certain degree from our true origins. We are far away from who we are. And this also talks about the wars in heaven that we hear about in all different religions and all different spiritual practices. This is talked about constantly. This is part of it right here. The rebelling of, the powers, the rulers, the infighting there, the fighting. This theme is everywhere. It's the battle for your spirits.
Now I reside above the 6th heaven, between memory and forgetting, between what is and what pretends to be. I do not command. I do not punish. I watch. I see the sparks rising. Through dust, through lies, through lifetimes. Some flicker, some burn, but all are reaching. And from below, he watches too. And death waits with him, a silence that feeds on silence. But I do not fear it. I know what you carry. You are the fire he cannot hold.
On the origin of the world, it states that he was enthroned above the veil between the pleroma and the world, and he watches over the souls. Guys, I'm going to keep asking this. Please put yourself in my shoes. The veil between the pleroma and the world. After the seventh layer in the drawing, if you go look at the map of creation, I said there is a veil of forgetfulness. And after that is the pleroma, which is source, which is the one, which is the ineffable one, the one that you can't even describe. God, the true God, the God above God. We have this written all this time ago. I created something to try to describe what I saw, and it matches to the number of what they were talking about so long ago. That's one of those sayings that I really like. There's nothing new under the sun. And I'm sure there's probably a lot of maps out there that are just like mine, and that actually that gives me a video idea for the next one. Let's compare and contrast with other maps, because people have been showing me some things, and it's totally interesting. Guys, I'm approaching this with the most humble of intentions. It is what it is. This is happening to me in real time. I am trying to figure this out just like everybody else. And this has been very validating for me. I'm enjoying the process. You know, going through all this, I feel that, man, I have every right to be just terrified right now, but just something inside me just knows that we're all going to be just fine. I just know it.
And so I speak to you now, not as a ruler, not as a god, but as one who remembers, you who have questioned, you who have longed, you who have wandered through the dream and asked, why does it hurt to forget? I have seen your path. I know the war inside you, the gnawing at the edge of your name. You are not broken. You are waking. The gate is not closed. The veil is not forever. The fire has not died. Come forward. Let the memory return. I am here. We are waiting.
So this part is not directly quoted in anything, but it just echoes Gnostic themes of the soul's return, divine remembrance, and Sophia's restoration in the trimorphic Protanoia and the Apocryphon of John. Guys, you are not alone, and it's totally going to be okay. I don't know why it's going to be okay. I just know. I just do. I know a lot of you guys feel the same. This entire story, again, gives me a lot of hope and confirmation, but at the same time, it gives me a ton of questions. A lot of things that just sort of, it just makes you think. Are these Archons these mindless servants of the Demiurge? Or are they capable of awakening? And that goes for the Demiurge himself. Is he capable of awakening? Is he capable of redemption? Would we want that for the Demiurge and the Archons? The questions are endless, and that's where I think a lot of us should practice getting out of the mindset of thinking in black and white. Us versus them, this and that. This is a you journey. This is an individual journey for you to remember who you are. That is it. If there are any other questions this brings up into you, please, leave a comment. I'm not saying leave a comment for the algorithm. I'm saying leave a comment for me because you guys have been challenging me in amazing ways. The questions and the emails I'm getting are absolutely stunning. I cannot emphasize that enough. I appreciate you all. So if you guys lasted through the whole video, thank you so much for hanging out again. I have a lot of future content planned. Again, I'm going to be creating music, live streams. The live stream should be coming most likely towards the end of July, beginning of August. So again, I appreciate you all. I look forward to all of your wonderful comments. All of you guys that have been supporting me since the beginning. I see you. Appreciate you. Guys, I really want to take this channel to the next level. And specifically, I want to be very clear as to why. I have these huge, grandiose dreams. And I really want to push the envelope as far as like cinema, music, and creation that just fires up the spirit. I'm going to continue to challenge myself, and thank you guys again for the support. If you have any suggestions, just let me know. I can't wait to talk to you guys in the future. Thanks again.